Okay, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
That's great to hear. Okay, so my name is Lorenzo. I am the Unity Workshop Junior Officer. So this is my first time doing one of these. So if I talk too fast or if I'm going too slow, let me know. Um, Today's topic is on multiplayer in games. Or what we're going to do is we're going to go over a general conceptual overview of the different implementations and architectures in multiplayer games. And then we're actually going to be using that knowledge to make our own multiplayer game in Unity, like multiplayer connection. It's going to be really, really cool. All right, so quick test. I want to see how many of you are CS majors? Okay. Any AET majors? All right. Any none of the above? All right. Cool. Good to know. Good to know. Um, who here feels like they know a good bit about how multiplayer games work? Okay. Cool. You a little bit, a little bit. Okay. That's good to know because it's gonna be a little bit of a foundational level thing. Um, so let's delve into it. Let's say you on your, oh, that's red. Okay, you on your cool laptop made a game. Yay! You want your friend to join. This is not a good looking laptop. That's fine. You want your friend to join. You could give them the build, like the file, on their laptop, but how could they join? How do we get a connection? Well, if we boil it down to the very core premise of it, all we need to do is to be able to send data back and forth between these two computers. But how do we do that? Computers can't just magically talk to each other. Well, we know that computers talk through to the internet. We know they talk to Wi-Fi. How do they do that? Well, talk through a router. We know they have the ability to talk to routers, so what if we made it so your computer sent data to the router, which then relayed it to the other computer? Oh. Now, this is not going on the internet. This is not online. This is simply using the router as a way to send the data between the two computers. This is known as LAN. Does anyone know what that stands for?
Local area network.
There you go. That's good. Yes, that is correct. LAN is great. A lot of games use LAN, where it's basically just if you have a friend who's in your house, or you could host like a LAN party where you invite people over. You could play multiplayer that way. It is not just through a router though. Let's say you live in the middle of the desert. You have no router near you. Very sad. You could still do it if you have an Ethernet cable and just get a direct connection. And it is still LAN because it is local and they are in your area. But let's say you met your friend on Fortnite and he lives on the other side of the world. Well, that's not really, he's not really on your couch next to you. So LAN isn't a great solution. So then what you need to do is you need to go, let me just quickly redraw this. What you need to do is you need to go online multiplayer. Online multiplayer is a lot more complex, and that's what we are going to be talking about today. So, online is when we use the internet to send the data between the computers. There are a few ways to do this. So, obviously, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Let's just try to do what other people do. We know there are a bunch of other multiplayer games. We all have favorite multiplayer games. What's some of you guys' favorite multiplayer game? Any big multiplayer game enjoyers here?
I'm a big fan of Halo.
Halo? Halo's fun. I've never played it, but I've heard good things about it. So when you have a really big company that makes a really big multiplayer game, what they'll do is they will make, I'm just going to copy this. Okay. They will use, oh, that's big. Okay. Server authoritative multiplayer. What
can you?
Yeah. Hello. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Whatever, man. Server authoritative multiplayer. So what that means, all we have to do is we have to buy a multi-million-dollar server setup. We'll have a bunch of servers all over the world, and then we have your computer. Here, let me draw another laptop. We have your computer connect to those servers, and then those servers, your friend will also connect to the server, and the server will relay information back. Super cool. The problem is, if we look in our wallets, I don't think anyone here has a few multi-millions laying around. So this solution doesn't really work for us either. So what we'll do is a third option. It is still online, but it's the one we're going to be going very in-depth. And if it lets me type this time, there you go. Peer-to-peer multiplayer. So what this is we just simply, all the internet is it's a big web of servers and computers and all these things. All we do is we find a path to our friend's computer, and we just send the data directly back and forth between each other. Now, this is really complicated because the internet is really complicated. How do we even begin going about this? Well, luckily, there is a service that we could use. Does anyone here play games on Steam? Okay, nice show of hands. So, Steam is amazing. Steam is great. Steam has this thing called Steamworks. What Steamworks is it is something you could use in your games to use Steam services. For example, you could use it to implement Steam achievements into your games. You could use it to get your friends list. You could use it, but for our purposes, most importantly, Steamworks, what it does is it'll find this connection for us. What it'll do is if we implement Steamworks, it'll be like, okay, I will find the best direct route to the computer, and I will establish this connection. And what's even better is, let's say it literally just can't find a way through the internet. It's like, I just can't do it. Then it will be so gracious, and it will use Steam's own personal relay servers to relay the data via Steam servers, which is great because we don't have to pay millions of dollars for that. The data isn't being stored on their servers, it's just being relayed. It's just a way to get across. So it's not server authoritative multiplayer, it's still peer-to-peer. And just to tell you, just to prove how common Steamworks is and how good of an asset it is, here are games that use it. Among Us, Lethal Company, Phasmophobia, Stardew Valley, Terraria, Risk of Rain 2, all these really big name games, all their PC ports use Steamworks for multiplayer. So it is a very valuable thing to have. Now, in order to use Steamworks, you have to have a Steam game ID. And as some of you may know, to put a game on Steam, there is a fee, unfortunately, of $100. When your game makes $1,000, then Steam will give you back that money. But let's say you don't have that. You don't have to actually put your game on Steam first to use Steamworks. Steamworks has this cool thing, I'm going to type this out, called Space War. So Space War is cool because Space War is this fake game that Steam provides for testing of all its Steamworks services. The Steamworks code is 480. This is very important. You don't have to have a game on Steam to use this Steam game ID. This is what we're going to be using to, any of you could, if you wanted to, follow along to the Unity, follow along with what we're going to do and use this without even putting a game on Unity and getting the multiplayer to work, or putting a game on Steam. Here's a fun fact. If you look in your friends' Steam libraries, and they have like 1 trillion hours on Space War, does that mean that they are implementing multiplayer into a personal game? No. This game ID is used for other things, mainly if, and I don't condone this, if you ever were to pirate a game, if they were to use multiplayer services, they would be using this because Steam does not regulate the use of game ID 480. Just a little fun fact. But, okay, so we got, hypothetically, on a conceptual level, we have Steamworks so that the connection can be established. All Steamworks does, though, is it's the transport layer. It gives us the ability to send the data back and forth between the computers. We don't actually have the data that we want to send back and forth. That's why we have, Unity comes with, I'm running out of space here. Do a quick extendo. Okay, that's why Unity has, why is my, hold on guys. I don't think my 2,000 hours in this are showing. Okay, that's why Unity has a built-in package called NGO, also known at, or it stands for, I believe Netcode for GameObjects. What NGO does is it allows us to gather the data that we want and package it specifically so it could be sent through the network. The way that the data is sent across the web is it's set in packets. So instead of sending like one large file all at once, what we'll do is we'll break it up into packets, and we'll send these packets across the network. And we send many packets very, very fast, multiple times a second, like a lot of times a second. Packets are great. There are 2 ways that we could send packets. You got TCP and UDP. So these are protocols for how it is. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol. This is basically, let's say you're a mailman and you have letters. You got letters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you need to mail them to your buddy. These represent the packets, right? What TCP is it's like, okay, letter 1, I'm sending it to you. Did you get it? Okay, you got it. Okay, letter 2, I'm sending it to you. Did you get it? Okay, you got it. Letter 3, so on and so forth. If a packet gets lost, because the internet is so complex and big, packets get lost. Sometimes they take a while to deliver. Sometimes, a lot of the time, they don't get there at all. They're gone. They're lost. So what'll happen is, let's say we send out packet 4. We're like, hey, did you get it? And then the receiver says, no, I didn't get it. Then we'll be like, oh, hold on, packet 5, hold on. Let's send packet 4 again. Let's make sure you get packet 4, and then once you get packet 4, then we'll resume the process of sending the packets. This is really good for downloading files. This is really good for things where we need all the data to be perfect. But it's not good for games, because if we halt everything because a little piece of data didn't get delivered, that pauses your whole entire, sending of information, which is not good in multiplayer. That could create lag. We don't want that. So what Steamworks uses is UDP. UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. Datagram, one of those. What that is it basically, instead of delivering letters, it puts the data in like a paper airplane, and it just throws a bunch of them really fast all at once. If one gets lost, it doesn't really care. It keeps sending them. And that's okay, because if you are a player and 1 millisecond you're in this position, and then next millisecond you're in this position, and then next millisecond, oh, the packet for this got lost, but like literally a millisecond later, you're gonna receive another packet that tells you here. It doesn't matter too much that small piece got lost, and because of this, we're not literally halting everything to wait for that one piece of data of where you're moving. So that's why we use UDP. So that's pretty cool. Now, in a peer-to-peer connection, I'll just draw boxes for laptops. When it's peer-to-peer, where is the game logic being calculated? Like all your scripts, where are they running? It might not actually be what you think. For server authoritative, for the big games, all the logic is actually running on the servers. All you're doing is sending your inputs, kinda. I'll go further on that in a second. But the purpose of that is, let's say your logic says, okay, I could move at a speed of, 5 meters per second in a game. What's stopping you from modifying that on your own personal computer and telling the server, actually, I could move at 100 meters per second. That's what I'm doing right now. And actually, everyone else is dead, and I went instantly. That's not too great. You can do that. So what we do is we run all the logic on the server, and we send our inputs so that the only thing that we could warp then is our inputs, but it doesn't matter if we tell the server we're pressing space 1 trillion times a second. We still can't tell the server that we're teleporting everywhere, which helps reduce cheating. It also keeps, if all the logic is done on the server, we have one game state that is the truth. It is the truth of what's happening. If all the logic was calculated on each individual client, then you could have one client think, oh wait, this is actually happening, while the other client thinks, oh, something else is actually happening, and then there's a desync, which is not good. One source of truth, server authoritative, very good. Problem is, if it's peer-to-peer, we don't have a server. So how do we stop the cheating? How do we solve all those problems? Well, pure peer-to-peer multiplayer is actually not common at all nowadays. Way back then, like decades ago, a few strategy games used this, where it would be just everyone calculates their own thing and just tells all the other clients what are happening. We don't do that anymore. Nowadays, even peer-to-peer is actually a hybrid, where someone's own computer will be treated as if they were a server. They are the host of the session. The other clients send their inputs to the host, to the guy who's hosting the lobby, and then all the game logic is calculated on his machine. That means that these clients can't do the big cheat, which is nice. The host still can, which is just a problem that'll persist, but at least these guys can't, which is good. So, yeah, even like the indie games that you play that don't have dedicated servers, someone still usually is the host that's doing all the heavy lifting. Now, is all these guys doing setting inputs and getting back what to render? No, because if it was just the server or host sending back periodically what is actually happening, like this is happening on this tick, this is what's happening on this tick, this is what's happening on this tick. What if you had bad Wi-Fi? What if instead of getting it consistently, you get it a little spotty, or you don't get them as frequent? Well, then you would see everyone move super choppy. You yourself would move super choppy. So what we do is we do prediction. We will still run the movement logic, and we'll be like, okay, even though I'm not getting the server or host hasn't told me that if I'm holding W, I'm going to be here in a few seconds. I could still run the logic, and I know that I should be here in a few seconds. if it's incorrect, the server like could snap you back or it could interpolate you back. If you've ever noticed in a multiplayer game, if your Wi-Fi is going bad, you'll like be moving forward and then you'll suddenly like snap back and then you'll move suddenly like snap back. That's what's happening. Your game state is differing too much from what the host says is the truth, and it's correcting you. So that's that. All right, so let me see what's next. Now, we did talk about cheating a little bit. Cheating is really, really, really hard to fend off. Do you guys know about a game called Battlefield 6? Recently came out. Little known game, right? You guys probably haven't heard of it. This game was made by one of the biggest game companies ever. It had a whole dedicated anti-cheat called Javelin. What Javelin did is it operated on the core level of your computer, on kernel level. This thing required you to launch your computer in safe boot or secure boot. Forgot which one is the right term. Basically, this thing was a behemoth, right? When the game launched, mere hours after the game launched, there were a bunch of cheaters everywhere. So if these multi-million-dollar companies cannot stop cheating, how can we, as the indie developers, stop cheating? You can't, but you can try to fight it. So Steamworks themselves has VAC, VAC, which is Valve Anti-Cheat. What that is it'll detect known cheating signatures. So if Valve knows, like, okay, these softwares or these things are a very, very common way to cheat, very big ways to cheat, it'll detect that, and it'll put a stop to it eventually. That means if someone's using a new way to cheat, they made their own thing, they're using a very small, subtle way, VAC might not detect it. Also, if it detects it, they won't ban the person from your game immediately if you have it enabled. They will purposely buffer the bans so that, let's say you're making a cheat. If you implement one feature and then you immediately get banned, you're like, oh, okay, I got banned for this one specific little line in my code for cheating. I'll just change that or do it. If you are using a cheat and you're implementing features, and then a few days later you get banned, well, you don't know exactly what part of your cheat caused the ban, or what specific behavior you did caused the ban. So that's why they buffer the ban, which is good for stopping the flow of cheaters, but also it means cheaters will be in your game for a little bit before things happen, which is why a lot of games opt for a report system where players could manually report other players, being like, hey, this guy 360 no-scoped me a trillion times. He cannot be that good. Also, does anyone here know about the VR game Gorilla Tag?
Yeah.
So Gorilla Tag has a pretty funny way of dealing with cheaters. Moderators in that game are given an item that's a ban stick, where if they, as a gorilla, touch another player, they get instantly banned, like just banished to the Shadow Realm, which I think is pretty funny. So you'll see like a mod chasing down a cheater trying to touch them with the ban stick. So yeah, cheating is really hard to fight, but there are a few ways to do it. What else is there? So we know that the server or the host is sending data to the clients, and the clients sending data to the host and server. Let's say we're playing a competitive shooter game. This is a wall right here, right? This is a player. We're going to call this player Holder, right? Then, how am I doing on time? Okay. This is another player. We're going to call this player Peeker. Okay, I didn't make this. Okay. They cannot see each other right now. Now, this is a quiz. Is it better, in this case, if you're this player, to wait for this player to wait for this player? Okay. if you are Peeker, is it better for you to wait for this player to look over the corner and shoot you, or is it better for you to peek past the corner and shoot them? Does anyone know which one is better? Well, yes, you are correct. You may think intuitively, well, it's equal, right? It's fair. It is not. With the way multiplayer works, it is always better for you to peek the corner. Why is this? Well, when you move, your player will predict that you're moving here and that it'll show it, and then you'll see the person here, but the person here will only see you peek the corner once the server or host tells them that they've gone here. Meaning that the reaction time, meaning this person sees this person a tiny bit longer than this person sees this person. Now, that was a little bit confusing. To clarify this, what game has it where even milliseconds matter? What game has it where you could eliminate a person in one shot? That's really big. Valorant, you are correct. So, Peeker's advantage is a really big problem for Valorant because their core game design is, hey, we need to be able, what's it called? How fast you could click the button based on what you see on screen. That's what's being tested. So, Riot themselves, which is who published Valorant, they have published article, Peeking into Valorant's Netcode, which explains it a lot better than I do. Okay, yeah, so here you have the two different point of views. That's a little bit exaggerated. This is the peeker, and this is the holder. The peeker, they see him a little bit before the holder sees it. Look. Okay, I see him, and now I see him. There's a difference, which in Valorant is really big. You don't want that difference. Oh, here's what I just drew. Yep, that's a good way of explaining it. Here's a graph of that. Here's the peeker's reaction time, and here's the holder's reaction time. This is a lot smaller than the peeker's reaction time. So, how do you fix this? How do you stop peeker's advantage? You don't. But you could use ways to mitigate it. You could use ways to try to shrink the difference in reaction times as much as possible. What's really interesting is here. They're right now they're just calculating what the reaction time difference is. Okay, yeah. So they have 141 milliseconds longer to react. What's interesting is some of the ways the game is designed is because of peeker's advantage. Some of the design things. So, where's when it says that? Okay. Nope, not this one. Here we go. Okay, the way the maps are designed, there are multiple different angles. So that means if someone peeks, you don't know exactly where they're going to come from. When they move around the corner, their shoulder appears before their head. So the holder has a little bit more time to react. What's interesting about this is because this affects peeker's advantage, the programmers could go to the art team and be like, hey, when you design these characters, could you purposely design the characters to have broad shoulders, to be a little bit wide, which I think is cool. How because of the way multiplayer is, it could affect the design of characters. Also, this is a really big one. Weapon fire is inaccurate when a player is moving. That's a big part of Valorant. If you're trying to run and shoot at the same time, you're not going to hit your opponents. You have to stand still. So that means the peeker, they have to move across the corner, and then they have to take the time to stand still so that their accuracy will be accurate. And that tiny little bit of time that it takes for them to stop moving and stand still so they could shoot is a little bit more time for the holder so they could react. So those are the ways that you could deal with peeker's advantage. Are we going to use any of this at all in the Unity implementation? No, but it's cool to know. This is a cool fun fact. All right, we're done with that. All right, let's see what's next on the agenda. Okay, so Steamworks. Steamworks is coded in C++. Good language, but why might this be a problem? Bless you. Anyone have a guess?
Unity works in C#.
That is right. C++ is not C#. These are two different programming languages. So what do we do? Well, luckily, there's some amazing people out there that have made C# wrapper implementations of Steamworks. What that means is, let's say we have C++. That is not legible. That is okay. What we're doing is we're not creating like a completely different thing in C# that is like a translation. What we're doing is we're creating... Oh, I've been on the background layer this whole time. Well, that's annoying. Whatever. Okay, back to layer 2. What we're not doing is we're not creating a completely separate thing that tries to imitate this in C#. What we're doing is we're keeping the original code, but we're writing C# code that goes around it and acts as an interpreter. So that Unity, I'm gonna attempt to draw the Unity symbol. It's just like a cube, right? I would know this. I think I have a sticker on the back of my laptop. No, I don't. Okay, let's pretend that looks like the Unity symbol. So what the implementation does is it's like Unity asks, like, hey, I want to use this feature of Steamworks. C# says, or the wrapper, it's called a wrapper because it literally wraps around C++. It goes to Steamworks. It's like, hey, Unity's asking this. Steamworks will come back, okay, here's my result. Here's what I'm saying in reply. And then C# will tell Unity, okay, here's what they said. So that's what it is. There are two big implementations or C# wrapper implementations of Steamworks that are not official because Steam didn't make an official one. They are FacePunch and Steamworks.net. FacePunch is what we're going to be using. FacePunch was made by FacePunch Studios, who have made Rust, Gary's Mod, probably other games. You guys have heard of those games, right? Yeah. So why FacePunch over Steamworks.net if they're two big ones? I'm going to move this over really quick. I need to make this big. Okay, so Steamworks.net is meant to be, where'd it go? As faithful as possible to the original. So it's basically like a direct one-in-one translation. FacePunch, I'm gonna try to, okay, I can't move it, whatever. You don't need to see the words over here, they're not important. FacePunch is more like tailored towards C#. You could see two different ways of getting the friends list using Steamworks. Using Steamworks.net, it's this. This is a whole essay. I'm not reading all that. In FacePunch, it is just 2 lines in a for each statement. It is a much easier way to work with Steamworks. So that's why we're going to be using FacePunch. Putting this back. Okay. So now we know the tools that we're going to use. Wow, this is a mess. We know the tools that we're going to use. We have a basic understanding of how multiplayer works. Let's actually do it. Let's go into Unity and let's make a multiplayer thing. So, if we were to just create a blank 3D Unity project, I have already made one for 2 reasons. One, Unity will take 1 billion years to create a new project and open. And 2, I have pre-made the thing just in case. So multiplayer is a little bit complicated. I'm gonna code everything from scratch here and show you guys. But if I forget one small thing or one line of code is a little bit off, everything might break and then I'll look like a fraud. So then in that emergency case scenario, I'll disable everything that we made and turn on the correct implemented stuff and be like, look guys, it works, I swear. But yeah, just pretend these two things don't exist. They're disabled, so they're not doing anything right now. All we got is a main camera, directional light, event system. It's nothing. Don't look in that folder either. That's not a folder. That doesn't have any pre-made things at all. Yeah, completely empty project, right? So first things first, we talked about two things we need: NGO, Netcode for GameObjects, and Steamworks. For NGO, we could go to Windows. Nope, wrong one. Yes, right one. It would be in Unity Registry. Let me just look up net. Here we go. Netcode for GameObjects is right here. It says remove because I already have it in the project because I didn't want it to take 1 billion years to install. But it would say install for you guys. All you would need to do is press the install button, and it'll do it automatically. There's two. There's Netcode for entities and Netcode for GameObjects. I forgot to talk about this. Netcode for GameObjects is what we're going to be using. Netcode for entities is more meant for really, really large-scale server authoritative games. It is a lot more complicated, and it is simply just not what we need. Netcode for GameObjects is the right one. This sounds concerning, but I'm going to pretend I don't see it. So we have Netcode for GameObjects now, just a simple installation since it's Unity. How do we install Steamworks? Well, to install a package from the outside, there are a few ways you could do it. We could go to the actual GitHub itself, and we could just download it and then bring it into Unity. Unity is also really cool, where if we go to My Assets, we could press plus right here, and then install package from Git URL. And then I believe I have the correct URL here. This is the URL of the Git page. And then if I were to press install right now, it'll simply install it. If I go to, let me see, Google, and I go to the URL that I'm installing to, it is literally just the Git page. This is it. See, transport, face punch. This is it. Once again, did I uninstall it? I think I still have it on this project from when I was implementing everything earlier. But if you were to just do this again, let me. I already put it. Yeah, it's just you just look up on Google face punch. You go to the Git and you copy the URL. You put it in here. If you were to press install, then it would install on your computer, and now you have face punch. Yay! We did it. We have the two packages. How do we actually use them though? Well, first things first. If we successfully implement a multiplayer implementation, how are we going to know if it works? We have to actually have a game part of the multiplayer games, So we could really, really quickly make something. So let's have a plane. This is the ground our players will be standing on. It has a collider. We're done. We have the map. Huge open world, guys. This is like Breath of the Wild style right here. Or more like Pokemon since it's empty. Then let's create a bean for the player. All right, cool. We'll name it player. This is a great player model. Same graphical fidelity of Pokemon game once again. Capsule collider. Let's give it rigid body. Let's make sure. Oh, you can't see him. Where is my camera right now? Where is it facing? Oh, it's facing the wrong way. Look behind you, camera. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so because we put a rigid body, and if you guys went to the physics workshop, you would know all about what a rigid body does. If we were to press play, I believe it should fall. There it is. Yay. Okay, but now we actually need a way to control it. So we will create a very quick player movement. Okay, I already have that name, player. What's another word for movement? Someone, give me another word for movement.
I just say player controller.
Controller, there we go. Controller. I don't know if that's how you spell controller or not, but we're rolling with it. Okay. Let's open script. Yay. Okay, this one, don't worry about that. That's nothing. Okay, we have an empty class. So, for the multiplayer implementation, what I've done is, since multiplayer is a little bit complicated, I tried making the simplest, most bare bone implementation that we could go over that we could. My goal is to do it in the fewest amount of lines of code. So what that means is we're going to get it working. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be a little bit simple, so it could be able to be followed along. We are going to commit a few code atrocities, though. We're gonna leave out a few checks that we should. But that's fine, because if everything works, everything works. If we have more time at the end, which I think I'm doing good on time, right? Yeah. Then we could make the script better. You have a question?
How do I reach the link where I install Base Punch?
Right. Let me pull that back up for you. Give me 1 second. Boom. It is this right here. You could just look up, I believe if you look up face punch transport for Unity, it'll be the first thing that pops up. Yeah, it's right there. Also, this is the URL. It's this one. I think they have other transports in the Git for something unrelated. We don't got to worry about those. We just want this specific link right here. Once again, it's right here if you face punch transport for Unity. Let me know when you got that.
Still didn't mean we kept on the right place, but yeah, no, I'm still doing.
Make sure you're not copying this link of the main one. Right here, it says you need to change the end of the URL of the main one to, oh, maybe, no, this should be right, yeah. Here, Giancarlo, if you want to help him out.
I will try. I've never done this before.
I mean, it's just installing a Git package. What error is it giving you?
Error adding / removing packages, and then unable to add package :
Huh.
well, not what.
Is it from the command line?
It's on the console.
Yeah, so maybe you're doing a PowerShell command or like a map command.
So Windows stuff is
Are you doing PowerShell?
I don't know.
I mean, if anything, you could just download it manually and then drag it into Unity. You don't have to copy the link. That's just one of the ways to download the package. While he's dealing with that, how you guys' days going so far?
It's been going great. Thank you very much.
Good. What did you do last night? Don't answer. Don't answer. As your lawyer.
Let me think. Let me try to think if I could think of any cool multiplayer fun facts for you guys. What was the pop quiz? What was the first multiplayer game ever created? First online multiplayer game. Let's see if
Like the war or something like that.
that could be correct, because I have no clue. I asked that question without knowing the answer.
Did you go to the Audio Pixel Collider last semester?
I did go to Audio
Yeah,
Pixel.
they had the war on the.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They kept saying it was like one of the earliest multiplayer games. It was made right here at UT, whatever.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, Audio Pixel Collider was cool. It was put on by AET. AET.
Maze War.
Maze War, the
That's
first
what
multiplayer
Gemini
game.
is telling me.
Cool. And Gemini's never wrong.
Gemini's never wrong.
AI could never
especially
be
since
wrong.
It tells me that it's taking Reddit as a source.
Yes. Cool. How's it going over there?
I seem to be using the same link you are, but I don't think it's not working.
Huh. That is, you're making sure to click window. I guess it's this one from get URL, right?
Yes. Why would I have permission to install something?
Yeah, and- Does it work for me? Here's the package. It says installed from this link. So this is the correct link because it's in my. Right? Is that what it looks like for you? This link, is that the right one? GitHub.com/Unity Technology/multiplayer community.
Oh,
Slash.
no, it's not the same one.
Oh, maybe I copied the.
Oh, I just copied the path. I'm gonna copy the path instead.
The wrong link. Yeah, it's this one. I don't know. I don't really have a way to like copy paste this onto your computer. I wish I could just like send it straight. Here you go. Catch.
I got it from GitHub.
Wait, can you put on the Discord?
On the Discord, I could do that. Yeah. Where specifically in the Discord? Workshop channel. Okay.
Why don't you just like close Unity and open it again and it would work properly?
That's how I can.
Okay. Unity workshops. Boom. There's the link. Should be there. That's the link that you copy and paste into Unity. Yeah, it's version 2.0. Since we before I guess we dive deep into the Unity implementation while they're dealing with that, did anyone have any questions about multiplayer on a conceptual level? No? Cool. That means we're learning. Yeah. Any of you guys learn anything new? Or did you know all that already? Kinda?
I knew what peer-to-peer networking was only because I was watching a video about old COD games and how like hacking is so rampant on them because the peer-to-peer networking is so fragile.
Yeah. Yeah.
You taught me about Peeker's advantage.
I did
I
teach you
didn't know
that.
about that
Yeah, I
actually.
did not know about that.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And that applies to all multiplayer games that require peeking. So now you guys have advantage over people who don't know that. Always peek. Never wait for your enemy to peek.
But what if you suck at aiming?
Well, play Minecraft then.
Minecraft is very competitive.
Yeah.
I'll have them know.
Trust me, that like
People go crazy on bedboards. I know.
people do crazy on bed wars. You're
I
right.
play
You're
many
right.
hours, I do not.
Can you God breach?
I can't.
What's happening over there?
It's still not working.
Huh?
The new
And you
link
close
did
Unity and open it again. I would love to try that.
The new link did work for me.
Okay, so it worked for you.
Yeah, the Google link did not work.
I see. Do you have Cloudflare on by chance?
No.
No? Okay, so I don't think it's a Wi-Fi thing then. Huh?
You just try and slow it like that.
Maybe just.
Move on.
Why don't I do that?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll help him out.
Okay.
Try and, yeah.
Well, we'll move on, I guess. So our player. We have the player controller script. Let me get this. Okay. So all we need to do is move them around. We're gonna do this really simply. We're gonna do a serialized field private. All this does is the serialized field, it makes it so that we could set it in the inspector in Unity without making it public. If we were to make it public, then whatever this variable is could be accessed by every other script, and it goes into we don't want that. All we want to be able to do is set it in the inspector. So we make it serialized field private rigid body, we'll name it RB. So this is the rigid body component that we gave the player. We also want to know how fast we want to move, so we'll do another serialized field private float, and we'll call this move speed. Because it's serialized field private, we could set it in the inspector to whatever we want. We'll also default it to like 5, move speed of 5, which is, I feel like, good. We'll change it if we need to. Then start. We can delete this because we're not going to be using it. And update. All we're going to do is this is going to be don't actually use this player movement in you guys' games. This is just the simplest, quickest solution I could find. Linear velocity, or just if you guys are using anything below Unity 6, I think it's just velocity. I think linear velocity is new. Yeah. Equals, we're going to do new vector 3 input dot get access horizontal and then times move speed. So that's for the x-axis. Then rb dot linear velocity dot y, and then on the z-axis we're going to do input. Hold on. Okay, we'll just copy this but change this to vertical. Okay, and then this should be an entire movement controller in a single line.
Now, why is it so terrible?
Game jam ass code.
I know.
It's crazy.
I'm just because there's a lot of multiplayer stuff, so I'm trying to speed through the normal stuff. Variable RB has not been assigned. How could I forget? Okay, so we'll just use players. There we go. Now we should be able to move around. Yay! Okay. So this is a little funny. It's because I forgot in rigid body to freeze the rotation. So it was rotating around. That would be a pretty fun physics game if you left it like that, but I'm not going to. Okay, we could move around now with WASD. We'll know if it works if we, on a completely different computer across the world, join a lobby that we host here. Their player spawns into my game, and then we could both move around independently, and then we both like get updated on each other's movements. That's gonna be the goal. So now that we have this, we made a whole game, guys. Wow. Now all we didn't need to do is make it multiplayer. So how do we make it multiplayer? Let me think. What's the first step? We need a network manager. So let's create an empty game object. We'll call it network manager. And then I will pull up my notes to make sure. Okay. Network manager script. Because of what we installed, we have this script. It wasn't there before. This, where it says select transport, this is where we have face punch right there because we got it. Yay! Now we have face punch into the project. If we go down here, Steam app ID, it automatically defaults to 480. Does anyone remember what the name of that was? Why that is? Space War. We all love Space War. Space War is a homie. We love that guy. Target Steam ID. This is the Steam ID of whoever we want to be sending data to. We don't know the other guy's Steam ID yet, but we will in a second. We'll change that in code. So right now we'll just leave that as 0. Once we have that, I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to check to make sure that I did everything right. Okay. now what we need to do is we need an actual script that'll handle it. So we'll create a script. We'll call this multiplayer. We'll call it Markiplier. Markiplier. There we go. Okay. We're gonna make our game Markiplier, guys. Okay. Completely empty script. I'm once again do this over here. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't worry about that. Okay. Where'd my Markiplier script go? Excuse me. Markiplier. Okay. And then oh, I see. There we go. Okay. So, to join and host a game, we need a way to actually do that in the actual game. So I lied. We're not going to be scripting. We're going back to Unity, and we're going to create buttons. So on the main camera, we're going to go to UI. Where is it? We're going to go to button. Am I blind? Button. We'll call this host. And then let me put this big. Wow, there it is. We'll go into the actual text, and we'll name this like host. And then I don't like how it's in the center of the screen because I actually want to like see the game. We'll move the host button somewhere nice, like in the top right corner. Okay, so what we want is when the player presses that to host a lobby, then we will create another button, UI button. We'll call this join. We'll rename the text join. We'll put that below. But we're not done here. We need another button. It could be a text. We'll just make it a button, just so it's visually consistent. This we'll name, if I could rename, lobby. Oh, why is that all caps? My caps lock turned on. Lobby ID. That is not centered. Whatever. So when we create a lobby, Steam has 1 trillion lobbies open. They'll assign us a generated lobby ID. What we need to do is when we join a lobby, we need to know what that ID is so that we could join it. So what we'll do is when the player clicks the host button, we'll display the ID here. Then we will create in the UI a input field. That's something the player could type into. The player will then input the Steam ID into here, and then when they click the join button, then they should join the game. That is the bare bones, most basic way to do it. If we were to get more advanced, we could make it so that it'll detect your Steam friends list, or you could send requests, or you could just put your lobby out into the like open so it could be discoverable by other people. We're just going to do the basic code way because it's the simplest and we don't have a lot of time. Enter code. I don't know if you guys could see where it says that. Okay, now we have all the buttons. Now we could go back to coding. Cool, back in our Markiplier script. So we'll do a serialized field. Why did it not put the brackets? That hurt my soul. Serialized field, private. Let's do, where's my text mesh pro? Well, TMP input field. There we go. So this is where we're going to put in the code. We'll call this lobby code input. And then we'll create another variable. This will be UI, the text, and we'll call this lobby code output. Cool. So now we have all the inputs and outputs. We also, well, okay, I'll say it this way. We'll have it so the buttons, when they click a button, we could, in the Unity inspector, have it set to run a certain method that we declare in here. So we won't actually use start or update. We'll just make methods, and then we'll have the buttons just trigger them whenever they're pressed. I keep doing that. There we go. So let's create a public void method. We'll call this host, and then we'll call this whenever host button is pressed, and then we'll create another one called join. Now, you guys ready for super awesome Steamworks? All you got to do to make one is we'll do Steam matchmaking dot create lobby async. We put in how many players maximum we want in the lobby. We'll say 2. We did it. This will create a lobby. Steam does the heavy lifting. That's so cool. But obviously, this is not going to be the end to the host method. We're going to have more code. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to put a wait, and then we're going to change void to async. So why are you giving me errors? Hello? Oh, public async void. There we go. Okay, so what await does is basically it says, hey, this string align could take time, because it will take time. Steam will not create a lobby instantly. We need to talk to Steam, and then Steam has to get back to us. That'll take time. So if we did it without await, it'll freeze the entire game waiting until the line is done executing, and we don't want that. So by making an asynchronous method, what we're basically saying is, hey, while this is doing it, we'll just pause this specific method. Everything else keep running. This will pause until this is done. Then, once that's done, what we'll do is we'll get the lobby code output, and we'll need to set that to what the lobby's ID is. But how do we get that ID? Well, what we'll do is we'll store the lobby that we create in a variable. So we'll create another variable, Steamworks dot data dot lobby current lobby. Okay. We're only going to make 3 variables. This is it. This is all the variables we're going to use for the entire multiplayer implementation. Then we'll just say current lobby equals this, because this not only will create the lobby, but it'll also output the lobby itself. So now stored in current lobby is all the data for the lobby that we created, that we're in. Then what we do now is we get the lobby code output dot text, so the actual text of it equals current lobby dot value dot ID dot toString. So all we're doing is getting the ID, and we're making it a string so we could put it in the text. The problem with this is that we're automatically assuming it has a value, because the way we declared it, it's not guaranteed to have a value. If it doesn't have a value and it tries executing this, it will crash everything. But like I said, we're doing this as simple as possible, so some sacrifices have to be made. If we have more time after, we'll fix that. But it should be fine. This is completely fine for the small scale that we're doing. So now if we were to, let me make sure there's nothing else I gotta do. Yeah. Now if we were to go back, first if we save that, save the script, we go back into Unity, as it compiles, give it a second, there we go. We go to the host button, and we tell it, did we put the script on this? Markiplier script, yes. go to the host button, and we tell it, okay, when we click it, we want to do a method. We'll do a method of the network manager of the Markiplier script, host. So now, whenever we press the host button, it will execute the host function. So, we will test this, and I am crossing my fingers and hoping that when I press this, the text right... Did I tell it which text? I didn't assign it. I remembered before I embarrassed myself. Cool. Okay. Join lobby ID. We're going to set that. No, that's the input field. We're going to put the input field to the input field, and then the lobby ID. There you go. Okay, so we have assigned our variables. So now it knows what the input is, and it knows where to output. Now, if I were to run it, and then click host, and then cross my fingers. Yay, that's our code right there, guys. Right now, we are in a lobby. We have used Steamworks to make a lobby. That is so cool, guys. Now all we need to do is have a way to join that. So, back here in the join method, let's do something extremely similar. We will set current lobby again, but instead of create lobby, we will join lobby. But what we did for host lobby is we inputted how many people we could have maximum in the lobby. Here, it takes the lobby code, I think. Hold on. Yeah, so to get the code that we input into the input field, all we'll do is we'll say ulong parse text dot, nope, that's not that. It is the, what do we call it? The input. Okay. So let me explain this. Why are you giving me errors? Oh, because I didn't put dot and then I didn't put it in parentheses. I'm falling apart here, guys. Okay, why are you still yelling at me? What error are you giving me? Oh, wait. Oh, because I forgot to make this async. Yay, it's not yelling at me anymore. Okay, so ulong.parse, what we're doing is we're converting the text into numbers, because as we input it into the input field, it's inputting it as a string. So all we need to do is convert it into whatever join lobby wants as the input. So we're just telling it, hey, this is not like a bunch of words. This is actually numbers. This is the code. So that's why we do that. So we're getting whatever we input, and then we're joining the lobby. So now, if we were to save this and then go back into Unity and press the join lobby, we were to host one, then on another person's computer, we were to input the code into the input thing, press the join button, it would join the lobby. And we did it. Did we do multiplayer? Is that it, guys? No. So just because we've technically created a Steam lobby and we've joined the Steam lobby, we're not sending any data back and forth. We're not spawning the player. We're not using NGO at all. All we've done is we've created this box lobby and we've told us, okay, we're in this box now. That's all we've done. So what we need to do is we need to use NGO now. The Steamworks part is done. We've done Steamworks. So the player themselves, we want this player to be able to spawn on the other side. We want their transform attributes, which is like their position and stuff, to be able to be relayed over. So what we'll do is we'll make this a network object. The defaults are fine, I'm pretty sure. So this is just saying, hey, we want this object to be able to interact with the network. And then network transform, what we actually want to send over. This is what we want it to synchronize. We don't want to send unnecessary data. So do we want to send the scale? Are we going to be constantly changing the scale of the player? No. Are we going to constantly be changing the rotation of the player? No. All we need to send is the position. So we're going to unclick those, and then we're just going to send the position over. Then authority mode. Remember when we talked about peer-to-peer versus server authority mode? We're trying to implement peer-to-peer. We haven't bought multi-million-dollar servers. So we're gonna change this from server to owner. And then I think everything else, the default, should be fine, and we don't have to worry about that. Yay! Then in prefabs, if we create a prefabs folder, and we go, it's completely empty. There is nothing else in this folder. We could take the player, drag it in, and it'll create a prefab. So now we could create unlimited players that we want, because it's a prefab, which is cool. The reason we want to do that is because when you join a lobby, you want to tell them spawn this prefab, which happens to be our player. Then if we go to the network manager, I believe right here, default player prefab, there's actually a pre-built functionality where we could assign our player prefab to this, and then make sure default. Oh, there's two. This is fine. Don't worry about that. That's from my test. So now, I think, even though we don't have a player on the scene, simply by interacting with the network, by joining a game, it should spawn a player, except it's not going to, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, we're here. I click host. Okay, we've created a host, but it didn't spawn a player, but it should. Why didn't it? If we go to, where did my network manager go? Here we go. Network manager. Right here, where it says start host, start client, and all that, if we were to click to start host, now it spawned. And now I can move around. So why is it that even though I'm hosting a lobby, I created a lobby, it didn't spawn it? It didn't think that we're hosting anything. That's because this, the actual sending of data and all that, is NGO. This is Netcode for GameObjects. So what we need to do is not only do we need to create a lobby with Steam, we need to tell Netcode for GameObjects that we're starting to host and that we're joining and all that. So back into the Markiplier script we go. Okay. So to do that, do you guys remember? Where is it? Here, target Steam ID. In order to join, we need to figure out what the person's Steam ID is. So we can't join anything with NGO if we don't know where to send the data. With Steamworks and NGO, since they are two separate things, we need to tell NGO, hey, this is where we're trying to send the data. This is the Steam player that we're trying to send it to. So we need to be able to store the thingy-mabob. So to do that, how do we do that again? Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our current lobby. We're gonna do dot. Oh, that's not a dot. Dot value. Dot set data. What time is it? How am I doing on time? Okay, set data. We're gonna make a thing. We're gonna call it host address. Then we're gonna set it Steam client dot Steam ID dot toString. Okay. So now the lobby itself, the lobby that we created, the Steam lobby is holding the data that we set. We made a variable and we put it on the lobby of the host's address. So if we were to join the Steam lobby, whoever joins it has access to the data that we put on the lobby. So in join, what we're going to do is network manager, network manager. This is NGO. This is NGO. We're going to tell NGO dot singleton dot get component. We're going to get the component that we saw earlier, the face punch transport. Face punch transport. We're going to get the component, and we're going to tell it, hey, the target Steam ID, the one that was that we left 0, we're going to tell it that is actually, this is going to be a long line, guys. Oh, did it auto? Okay, well, I could use most of this. We're going to tell that is actually the current lobby dot value dot the thing we just stored, get data. Let me make sure I have it correct. Dot host address. Okay, this is a long line, but basically what we're doing is we're telling the transport itself, hey, what we stored earlier on the host, on the lobby, is the address of the host. We're just simply retrieving that right now and telling it that the target Steam ID for who we want to send stuff to is the host, and we get that from the lobby. So now that we've sent that, we could, now that it knows what that is, we could do network manager dot singleton dot start client. So this starts the join. Then I should have done this earlier, but I forgot. We're gonna tell NGO start host. Boom. You guys want to know something cool? This is it. the few lines of code you guys are looking at right here. This is an entire multiplayer implementation. So if we were to save this and then go back into Unity, we should now technically be able to join and host anywhere in the world, and it'll spawn the player and you can move them around. I want to test this. Now, how do I test this? I could build the game and then just launch 2 EXEs and host on one and join on the other, right? Wrong. False. We cannot do that. Why? Because Steamworks uses Steam, and it uses the Steam client. On this computer, I have my Steam account, which, look, Space War, guys. I have a good amount of hours in Space War. This is already running. My Steam client is already being used. I need 2 different Steam clients. To do that, what you would need is a completely separate computer altogether. But instead of putting one of you guys on the spot and borrowing one of your computers, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use this cool thing called VMware. And I'm going to... Did I click it? There it is. Okay. I'm going to run a virtual machine of Windows 10. What a virtual machine is basically I've created this another copy of Windows 10, and it thinks that this is hard to explain. You know what a virtual machine is. How do you explain virtual machine? Yeah, it's like another computer loaded into the computer. That's a good way of explaining it. It's a completely different computer. It's a separate thing. It's going to be really slow and painful to work with, guys, because it's sharing the same resources as my computer. Even though it's technically another computer, it's using the same GPU, it's using the same CPU, so it's hogging a bunch of the resources, but whatever. Now, this is my alt account. This is my second Steam account. So now I have 2 separate instances of the Steam client running. I got a really good selection of games, you guys. My whole rival is in Umusume. So anyway, this is simulating if I had another computer way across the other side of the world. How am I gonna get the build from my actual computer to my virtual machine? Well, I have a USB drive plugged into my laptop right now. What I'm gonna do is, where is it? This one. I'm gonna workshop build. Okay, this has something on it right now. Click new folder. We're gonna name this cool folder. Yay, empty. Then we're gonna save all our changes here. Actually, hold on. Let's run this first and let's make sure we don't have any errors before I go through this whole process, because there's a good chance I forgot something. Join it. I'm sure. Okay. Cool. Netcode cannot start already running. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. So we'll go to build profiles. We'll go to build, and we're gonna want to make a build in the cool folder that we made. Select. Okay, should be building it. So we're making official build of our game, a really expansive and really cool game with a lot of cool mechanics. As it takes a second. Yep. It's trying. Hold on.
You look away a little bit.
Yeah. Avert your eyes, guys. It's shy. Okay, yeah, we got it. So if we were to run this, it would launch the game as because this is an exe. Now, in the virtual machine, I'm going to tell my virtual machine that the USB drive connected to my laptop. I actually want to disconnect it to my laptop, not metaphorically. I want to disconnect it from my laptop, but not physically, and connect it to the virtual machine. So I'm going to disconnect from host, connect it to my virtual machine. So now it's as if it was plugged into this this virtual computer, virtual machine. Well, now if we go into cool folder, we'll be able to run the multiplayer game on this other computer. And it'll take 1 million years to work because virtual machine is really slow. You're right. I forgot to download more RAM, guys. Sorry. Yay. Hold on, give it a second. There it is. Okay, you guys cannot. Oh. Okay, it appears I forgot to make the UI scale screen size. I think it's automatically set to same pixel size. We're just gonna deal with it. It's fine. Okay, this is the part where I need you guys' help. Now the game shop is interactive. The code that it generates is very long, and my memory is really bad. And I can't copy this and move the text over to the other one. So if you guys could help me remember this code, or someone could write it down or take a picture. Okay, you got it. You took a picture. Okay, Mark's on the case too. You got it? Okay. I guess we've done an added level of difficulty since we won't be able to see the full code that we're implementing. But I don't want to do a whole other build and change it, guys. It'll take too long. Whatever. Okay, read it back to me very slowly, please.
97.
Too fast. Go slow.
75.
Like another 7 or?
Yeah, another 7.
Okay, 75.
24.
2, 4,
51.
5, 1,
93.
9, 3,
48.
48, 48,
70.
70,
95.
95.
92.
Okay. Did we input it correctly? I got no clue. Well, we'll just have to hope. I think this is the join button. It's supposed to be the third one, right? Let me see. Yeah. Please work. Hello? Oh, no. Okay, I forgot something. It's debugging time, guys. Okay, what did I forget? Why no worky? We're implementing it, we're doing it, we're reading it, we're joining it. Should have spawned. What I would do now is I would restart the exe, host, and then on my actual Unity, I would on this Unity, I would join here, and then I'd be able to see whatever error it gives me, which I might do in a second. But you know what? I think this calls for an emergency. So this, and this, we're gonna turn this off. And then these two things. Oh, what? It's something, guys. Oh my gosh. Where did these come from? Whoa, what is this? Let's run this. This one will work, yes. Okay, picture time, guys. Got a new code. You got that? Okay, this exe, close out, then workshop build. Wow, it already has one pre-made. Player. Why? Oh, I know what we did wrong. Okay, I'm gonna fix it after this, but I'm still gonna run it anyway because I'm might as well. We're already here. I double clicked it, right? Am I not? Am I crazy? Did you guys see the circle that it's running? I feel like the second I okay. Yep, I was right. Why did I doubt myself? Here we go. And now you guys will be able to see what we input. Alright. Read it back. 10, 97, 75, 24, 51, 93, 48, 76, 38. Okay. Join. Yay! Okay, so now, if I were to put this on one side, put Unity on the other side. So you see, if I move around here, on this side, my movements are copied over there. That is literally the data going all the way across to Steam. Or I guess not to Steam. It made a direct connection, and it's going here. So this is, we're doing online. We did it, guys. If this virtual machine was a computer on the other side of the world, we would be able to connect, and we'd be able to join our friends and walk around, and it'd be really cool. Look, even if I push them, like it's a little slight, but you can see that they're getting pushed correctly on both sides. Yay! And then you guys could use the exact same logic to create whatever multiplayer game you want. I spent $0 today, and I could make a multiplayer game. It's really cool. But this was cheating a little bit since this was the pre-made thing. Thankfully, I remembered what we did wrong. So if we go back to Markiplier and Player Controller, we do need to make a slight difference here. Actually, it should have spawned anyway. Why didn't it? Anyway, we're gonna change this to a network behavior, so that in update, we're gonna say if is, oh, I misspelled. If is owner. The reason we do this is, let's say both spawn like they should. If I were to press WAS on one computer, it's the same logic is going to run for the other player. So you're going to be able to move both players at the same time. We don't want this. What this check says is, hey, if you are the computer that owns this object, then you are the only one that can move this object. So they're independent from each other. If both had spawned like they were supposed to in the in-class thing here, then they would have both moved at the same time if I pressed WASD, and this fixes that. So this would have fixed that, but why did they not spawn? Turn these off. Turn this back on. Network manager. Let me make sure everything here looks right. We're using face punch. Player. Which player prefab are we using? Yeah, we're using the right player prefab. It should spawn it. Because it's part of the prefab list, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna need this. That could be it, maybe. Face punch, 480. That's fine. Input field is fine. Huh. Nothing with the buttons. Well, maybe we just inputted the code wrong. That's what I'm going to assume it was. I put the buttons wrong. I think you might be right. Did I never? I didn't! Guys, how'd you guys let me forget? You made me look like an idiot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's your bad. How dare you? I'm joking. Okay, multiplayer, host. Okay, so now when we click the host button, or the join button, it'll actually join now. Yay! So now we need to remake the build. This is gonna take forever, guys.
If it's not nice.
I have to disconnect from this. Yeah, this is gonna take a few minutes, so I give you guys permission to doom scroll on Instagram. You're welcome. YouTube short, never permission. Don't bring that in this workshop ever again. Okay, so now I should be reconnected. Yeah, okay, I have my USB again. Okay, well, actually, where's my cool folder? Let's just delete everything that's in here. Delete. File, build profile. You guys having fun? Woo! Unity, yeah. Woo, baby. This is what I've been waiting for. This is all about. Woo! This is my Charlie impression. Do you wanna? Oh yeah, save. Okay. Can any of you guys do any cool like impressions of like famous people? No, no impressionists in here. I've never heard of him. Who's that guy?
Gandalf?
Oh, Gandalf! Do it. Let's hear it. You shall not pass. You're on a timer until I get all this working.
You cannot pass. I must summon the fire. Wield of the flame of Arnold. You cannot pass. That fire will avail you. Raymond, go back to the shadow. You shall not pass.
And then he does the sad thing.
Give a round of applause for our buddy here. Thank you, thank you. Absolutely incredible. I'm sure all our morales are back instantly because of that.
Fly, you fool.
Okay, let's close the old exe. Okay, back in cool folder. Launch the new one we made, the one that'll 100% work, guaranteed, or else I'll cry. Oh, it's not. Look at that. While that's loading. Alright, picture people, get ready. We're gonna get a new code sent our way. Host. You got it? There we go. Okay. Back in here. Man, it still didn't load in that whole time. Cool. I kind of missed the last one. I missed being able to see the code that we're entering, or whatever. Alright. Hit me. 10, 97, 75, 24, 51, 93, 48, 94, 42. Alright. Please. Yay! We did it in class from scratch. From scratch. We didn't have anything before. We made a multiplayer game right in front of you guys, right in front of all you guys. I am the best. You guys are the best. Go and make giant MMOs. You're welcome.
This is literally League of Legends.
Yeah. This
I can't tell the difference.
I guess we could go into questions. That's really all I prepared. I mean, it's 20 minutes before 8. Anybody have any questions about any of this? What? What do you mean? Oh, those get automatically added for me. I guess they might not for you if you don't have. My bad. In the Markiplier script, it's these TM Pro. This is Steamworks is for Steamworks. This is for text. Yeah, take a picture. Netcode, face punch, and then you need one for player controller. Just need that netcode. Yeah. What was that? One more time. Sorry, I didn't hear. Oh, go to the right. There you go. Yeah. Isn't it cool how we made a whole multiplayer thing and just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lines of code in our whole multiplayer controller script.
How like secure is this?
Not at all. Don't do this. Do not leave it. My goal was to make the most bare bones, littlest lines of code implementation as possible, and this is it. Which is good because we finished probably right about on time, 20 minutes before.
So what would you do to make it better?
What would I do to make it better? Well, probably first thing that bothers me a lot is just assuming that we have a value. I do if current lobby dot value is not null, then I do that, and then I do that when we're checking the value here too. But that's just more so like a good code practice thingy. What I would also do is I'd do a lot of, because the way multiplayer works and we're relying on Steam stuff could fail. We could try to create a lobby, and then it'll be like, hey, I can't actually create a lobby right now, or lobby created unsuccessful and stuff like that. Right now, if something like that were to happen, it'll just crash. It won't work. So what we'll do is we'll put it in a try statement. We'll say try, and then create lobby, and then if not, we'll catch the exception, and then we'll output the exception, so we'll be able to see what went wrong. Yeah, because right now we're just assuming that everything will work perfectly and nothing bad happens. Like you throw a pebble at this script and it'll explode. But yeah, I'll try and then catch exceptions. What else would I do? I don't know. You could implement a little bit of prediction if you want. That'd be cool. What's cool is something I didn't show you guys in the prefab for the player. In the network transform, where is it? This thing, interpolate. This is checked. You saw how when the multiplayer was moving on both sides, it was smooth. That doesn't technically mean that we're getting that many ticks per second. What it's automatically doing is it's interpolating between the text that we get. It's just something that automatically comes with that. If I were to turn off interpolation, then you would see it like snap to each position. You would literally see each packet as we receive it, which is cool for us seeing it, but from a gameplay perspective, keep that on. Yeah.
What's happening with different games and trying to connect to your lobby?
That is a really good question. So we're using Space War. The problem with Space War is even though it is kind of like public use, it is everyone uses Space War. So many people use Space War. So our lobbies are discoverable to everyone else who's using 480. If we were to, unfortunately, pay the fee for a Steam game, then Steam would give us our own personalized Steam game ID for that game. And as long as that Steam game ID doesn't get like leaked, those lobbies will be private, only to that Steam game ID. So yeah, other games can't join our lobbies because they have their own IDs, and our games have their own individual ID. But not in this case, because we're using the public. Did that answer your question? Or?
Yeah, so basically it is a problem if you're using Space War.
If you're using Space War, then other games could attempt to join the lobby. I don't think it'd go through though. I think too many things are different. Because this is going. I'm not too knowledgeable about this, but I remember once on the multiplayer game that I'm working on, like as a side project, seriously, I had a build that I was just using, and then I was doing all the new changes on the Unity editor, but I was too lazy to create a new build for the other one, but it was working up to a certain point when the changes were enough where it told me, it gave me an error, like there's too big of a mismatch between the netcode or between the prefabs or something like that. So it just didn't join. Yeah. Any other questions?
So theoretically, if I made this exact same thing on a computer, but I have my PhD, and
Yeah.
As long as there's like a 95% match in everything you have, you could technically start.
Probably. I don't want to like say 100% certain that 95% match would work,
Or
but
something like that.
just something like that. But actually, it technically wouldn't work because with the code that we have right now, we put a 2 in to create a lobby. Right now, our lobbies are maxed out at 2 people. So I guess no, other people can join if 2 people are already in a lobby because our lobby is maxed out. Yeah.
That's kind of how you like actively like try to communicate with something that's very close, but you
I haven't thought of that. I guess you could if you try to like replicate the netcode enough to like pretend, but that's another. So what's cool about Steamworks is it validates that players are real because you have to have a Steam account in order to join it. Steamworks also encrypts the data that we're sending back and forth, so someone can't just peek into the raw data that we're sending back and forth. Steamworks also hides your IP, so that even though we're dealing with IPs because it's a network thing, you can't steal the IP just from running the exe and joining a lobby because Steamworks does that. So Steamworks is great. If you were Unity, technically has its own built-in transport layer, but it is not as good as Steamworks at all. It does not encrypt your data. It does not protect your IP. It does not have relay servers, so if you can't make the connection just won't make. And you have to do so much more stuff manually. Steamworks is great. Actually, I think I had a whole bit of all the advantages of Steamworks. What was it? Yeah, lobby system encrypts the data, relay servers, connections, validates players' IP protection. Okay, yeah, so I touched on everything. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Got it. That's okay. So I should have explained that. That's a great question. So authority mode. This means who has authority of this object. Who can say this object is here? Who could say this object is there? Who could change it? If we have it as server, that means if we paid like if we have a really big server, the one piece of truth, the game state, that is the only thing that says this is here, that is there. But we're not doing server authoritative. We're doing peer-to-peer. So by changing it to owner, we're saying whoever's computer initialized this prefab, whoever joined and owns this prefab, who owns this object, they are the person who could change this object. So yeah, if we were to change it to server like this, now it doesn't work because we don't have a server. At least that's in my testing. That was in my testing earlier. Now it does. Did that answer the question? Okay. Any other questions? No? Alright, I have a question for you guys. Do you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Yay, thank you. Well, since that's all I prepared, I guess you guys are dismissed a little bit early. You guys are good to go if you want to. You have a question? We will be uploading it to YouTube, correct? Yes, we will. Yeah.
The VODs also will be on Twitch.
Got it. Okay, VOD will be on Twitch too. Yeah, this is one that's kind of hard to follow along because a good amount of time is conceptual, and the other good amount of time is it's not that much, and also there's a good amount of stuff we had to do, so I kind of had to like go. I couldn't like wait for you guys to follow along, but you could do it on the VOD if you want. I have a question for you guys. What topics would you guys be interested in seeing workshops for? Is there anything specific you guys want to learn about? Unity related?
Personally, I would like a workshop that would like kind of teaches how to integrate like 3D models into very users. It's like 2D art's kind of easy to integrate into 3D,
So just to clarify, you mean not the actual process of like modeling it? You mean importing it? You mean like character rigging?
Yeah.
You mean like, okay, I see what you mean. That would be a really good workshop. I would need to brush up on that, but that's something we could potentially do in the future. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your answer. Procedural animation. Procedural is really fun. On the topic of that, one of my favorite games. Have you guys ever heard of a game called Rain World? Rain World's really good because the entire game is 100% procedurally animated. It is so cool. It also is the game with the most complex ecosystem out of any game that's ever been made. There's a channel called, what's it called? Curious Archive that makes really good videos, or has a really good video on Rain World. Procedural animation is really cool. You could definitely do a workshop on that. That'd be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, no, procedural animation is really fun.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for your answer. Alright, you guys are... Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you. A round of applause.
And if you guys have any, since this was my first workshop, if you guys have any feedback, you could come up to me and we can talk about stuff. Okay.